So I had a use case of pulling data out of OI. So if you know what OI is, this is OI2. I'm going to walk you through how to create the token and everything, but this is a very short video because this wasn't really too complicated. If you Google exporting data, and I mean using Google, exporting data out of Broadcom OI, there's a couple of websites you can go to. Now that says VMware, so that's not the right one. But you can, this is, ignore this one. I'll close that one. So I put up the wrong one on that one. But there is a better one here that you could use. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Give me 1 second. Yeah, this one. So just Google, and I'll probably put a link at this anyway, how to query metrics. This is the community site, or at least the knowledge base. But it has some really good information here. Now, if you don't know, Broadcom uses a database theory. It's really a file base of the NAS and the TAS. And a lot of these queries don't actually work per se, and I think it's because they went from version 1 to version 2. For an example, some of these I tried to do some aggregations, and maybe it was just mine and it didn't work. So I'm just going to show you the basics high level, and then you can figure out from there. Now this part's important. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. But first thing you want to do is create a token. So if I go in here and I go to settings and I just search token, I'll see this manage token. Most importantly, when you go to create a token, you want to make sure it's a tenant token and give it a name that you can remember. And that's really all you need to do there because you need those tokens. So I'm going to go back up here, services. What I really care about is, well, I guess I could show you from here. So whenever we look at this, right, we want to make sure that we have the idea of these products coming in. And again, I'm not going to dig deep into getting a lot of these, but you can do that yourself. But if you notice, I have application performance management metrics, I have app netted metrics, and I have new relic metrics, which are kind of cool. So let's go over here into Postmon. Like I said, it's very simple. It's not a complicated video, but again, 90% of these came from here, and we're just going to keep it stupid simple. For an example, this query metrics, this is ATC, but I didn't use ATC. Let me see. And this is public knowledge, so I don't mind showing you. But a lot of this, you can dig a little bit deeper, do a little bit of research, and you might find an easier way of doing stuff than I did. But to me, this was easy peasy, right? So we'll go over here. And the first thing I want to do is query everything that's a product application manager. Now, pretty common sense. I'm not going to click on it because it will show you mine, but authorization, you want to pick bearer token and put in your token. Headers, notice I'm not even using this one, which is fine. If you don't know Postmon, I'm sorry, I'm not going to teach that real quick. But you want to contact JSON as return. And then in your body, this is a post. And I'm going to metadata and then query metric. And again, this is public knowledge, so nothing top secret here. What I'm saying is give me the attribute, and we're going to break this down in a few seconds. The expression is going to give me by product and values. And if you notice, the values is actually an array, so I can add more than one. But this clamping is very important. I think the default was 1,000. But the problem with that is if I need to go to 1,001, then I wouldn't get that one that I was looking for, right? Because it went past that. So I went as high as I could without it erroring out. And there may be another way of doing that, but there's a throttle limitation that you have to be careful with. But when I run this right here, I can see that it brings back a lot of good information. Now this is your detailed information. So for an example, attributes, the product application performance manager. This is a resource count. Here's the IP address. And this is all local to me, so there's no hacking involved here. So I'm not too worried about that. But if you notice, this is a resource count, which is kind of cool. But let's see, if I dig a little bit deeper, these attributes is what you can search for up here. So let's say I want to look for, let's find something stupid simple. Yeah, like this one. So anything past the colon is your actual metric. If you don't know that, then look for APM 101, right? Just kind of dig into it. And let's see. Now, the truth is you probably would never want to do this because OI gives you everything. But again, since this is public, I figured it doesn't hurt to show you how to do it. I'm trying to find a better metric, like maybe there's an errors per interval, right? So let's see. Let's go through here and just look real quick. That's errors. I guess errors may be okay because it's after the colon. But what I can say now, let's say I want to change this to say, give me a metric name and I want errors. So maybe I'm looking for a certain metric, right? So let's run that. And there we go. So it brought back errors. The good thing about this isn't really product dependent. So I only have two, but let's say I had something coming back from AppNeta, or if I had something coming back from, let's see if I am getting AppNeta metrics. So since this is an array, I can do this, and we can say AppNeta, if I can spell it properly. And I'm not sure it brought anything back, so we can show AppNeta. No, it didn't. I guess we're not getting the metrics there. What was the other one? New Relic. Let's see if there's a New Relic. Where's my, here we go. New Relic 1. So let's see if I can grab this. Just remember there's a 1 at the end of it. So I'm going to put this one right here. Nope. I guess I got to type it out. It does not like for me to do that. So let's just say new Relic. How does New Relic spell it? Right. 1. Okay, New Relic 1. All right, let's see what that gives us, if anything. And let's just bring this back. Let's see if it brings anything back. It does. Okay, cool. How cool is that? So now this is New Relic data, okay? And that's the beautiful thing about OI is you can put all this data into one, right? So it can come from other sources other than Broadcom, like New Relic, you know, Datadog, whatever you have in place. So let's look at APM, Relic, you know, again, when you look at the metric, this is just the detailed, but notice there's no views, like I'm not getting the actual metric. And that's very important because that's this right here. Let's go, when I said this down here is important. Now again, if you look here, there's some examples like this query range. I never could get these queries to work. It just didn't work for me. Maybe I did it wrong. You know, it does have a pattern here. I guess we could try this real quick. But that wouldn't make sense. It has to be a query specifier. Oh, that's ATC. Maybe that's why. So I was using the wrong URL. Interesting. So maybe we can change that URL and do, because what I'd like to do is some aggregation functions. And that would kind of make sense, but what if they're not using ATC, right? So anyway, so let's just go ahead and look at this. So we want these values to come back. One thing about these values that's very important is if I go look at this one, so this is another query. So, oops, part of my ID, but that's okay. You can't get the whole thing from there. So this is going to return some values. And if you look at the body, the concept here is I put in the ID that I want to return, okay? Now the cool thing is, let's see if I can get some real estate without breaking this. The cool thing about this is it's an array also. Now I played with the code doing some Python and I got it up to 1,000. So you can dynamically do this, right? But if I put in the value, that's the value it's going to match this one, right? So this is New Relic. And with that value, you know, the question is, well, okay, what is this? So if I look over here, this is a timestamp. That's a Unix-based timestamp, so you're going to have to convert it. Interval size. And again, if you don't know what this stuff is, then not to be ugly, but this video is probably not for you because this is for APM people or NetOps people or Broadcom people, right? So 6 and then value min, max. And this, so min, max. This is really the only value I care about. In this case, it's a 12. And this is the count of number of samples per interval. Okay, so again, you can search for this query or I can give you this query, combine it with my video and get this information you're looking for. And a lot of this, if you search, is actually, like I said, these queries are public knowledge. So it's not, I say that on purpose many times. So you know that what I'm showing you is not top secret. So let's go to here. Oh, and if you go to the help, and inside the help, if you actually search for the OIs, I mean the APIs, then you can, I think that's where I found it from. So if we do here, and we do here, and there. So yeah, so things like this, right? So it's mainly in this right here. Let's see, so yeah, so right there, okay. Does that match it? Nope, that's query metrics, that's register metrics, we don't want that one. let's see. Here we go. So this is it right here. So this is one we're using here. So again, no top secret there. And if I go back over here, this one was kind of harder to find just because if you do a fetch, you'll get all kind of garbage, right? But it might be on this page. So we're not doing, I'm not talking about bringing data in, I'm talking about getting data out. Oh, so here it is. So this is the values. Yeah. So if you kind of look, you'll be able to find it based off of this. They're using a different one. So they're going to the store, the NAS store. We're going to the NAS metric value. I'm just using fetch, and here they're using store. Tomato, I guess. So, but the value is the same thing that we're getting back. So not a big deal. What if I just put store here instead of fetch? What if I give me the same thing? So let's just try that. No, it didn't. So, okay. So again, like I said, some of these documents have changed. I think it's because they have upgraded from 01 to 02. Uh-oh, did I break it completely? Maybe I just screwed it up. Oh, maybe I misspelled fetch. Obviously I did. Okay, so, but again, these you can put these in an array. I wouldn't do this manually, even though I'm showing you how this kind of works, just because, you know, it can be very tedious. Here we go, let's see. So there's both of them. Now, and again over here, this is a pretty intense query. There's a lot of, it seems there's a lot you can do. I want to go back now and try the ATC. Why don't we try that real quick on this call? Or this video, whatever this is. So what I'm going to do is duplicate this. I might have just answered my own question. Let's see. So we want to do ATC, and let's just copy this whole thing right here. Now, again, you got to make sure you have the right rights to do this, and you do that in your token, right? And then I wanted to fetch, but I know I don't have UIM, but I don't know my range here. So that may be part of it, but I do know I have application performance metrics. So we're gonna, because I want to steal this right here. And I'm gonna stick that right there. And we're gonna take all this off. Let's get rid of some white spaces. I don't think at the beginning matters because it's just a payload. This frequency may be off, but let's see what that gives us. Yeah, so I think maybe if you come in here, what happens if I just remove this? Oh, we got an error, so I need a comma there. Now let's try it again. So, yeah, see, I can never get these to work. Maybe you could spend the time to figure that out. But anyway, so back to these. These are pretty straightforward. If I want everything in here, like if I know my items, I can just add them, right? And I don't think it's case sensitive because it's string. I mean, string values can be case sensitive, but I've never had it have a problem. Let's see. Yeah, so it didn't bring the app netta back, but it does. I've tested that before, Spectrum and all that. And again, anything. What I found is anything in these attributes you can search for, and you just have to put attribute here. And there are other things you can do. Again, if you don't know how this works, then do some little research, because the same thing as doing APM. But here I'm doing get some real estate so you can see both. For an example, this is using regex, so I can use the wildcards there. Again, that's regex. Everything here seems to be regex. See, that's kind of cool. They're actually doing a join there. Now, that's going to be from the UI that you can create these from. Like, that's 100% from the UI right there. So load all NetApp devices. I guess attribute pop all. That would probably be kind of messy, but let's see what that gives us, because I'm going to delete this anyway. So attribute oh, that's specifier name. So that's a regex. Oh, so I don't have this. So that's saying give me NetOps CAPM, NetOps ADA, NetOps infra. So that would probably infrastructure, and then just give me all that's in it. So okay, so I get what they're doing there. List all APMs. This one may be what we're looking for in a way, but the problem with it, what is the API call they're using? So task graph. Oh, they're using something totally different. Let's just see what that gives us. Oops. Let's go up to here, Control V. Is there anything in there? Pacific? Nope. So we're going to grab from the TAS, which is totally different than the NAS. So let's go to here. How far back do we need to go? Probably all the way to host. Yep. Okay, and let's see what that gives us. I've got to get rid of the double backslash here. And / tomato. Go. Aha. That's pretty cool. So that gave us everything with APM. It's kind of interesting. That says New Relic. So I'm not sure. Like I said, some of these queries I found look like they kind of run, but then they don't really. And I think it's this right here that doesn't work. I think this is possibly everything, but it's laid out really different, right? So, but this is coming out of the TAS, not the NAS. And again, if you don't know the difference, spend a little time on the documentation. TAS is more about how it's set up. NAS is more about the metrics, just to put it simple. But I don't even see anything with APM in here. Maybe it's because I'm saying APM wildcard. Maybe there's an APM somewhere that it's looking at. Anyway, so I'm digressing. That you get it. So it's pretty cool. Little short video here. Basically, just spend time on this documentation right here. Like I said, I'll put a link if I even know how. Never done that. So it's pretty straightforward. I guess I just put it in the comments, right? And I'm kind of catching a cold, so my voice sounds kind of rough today. But anyway, I hope this helps.